Derek, another bit of January business through the door today.
Yeah.
Pleased with that?
Yeah, obviously we're in a position where a couple of longer term injuries to Brad and Kyle, we just felt we had to be in a position to react. James is a boy that we've been aware of. He'd been on loan last season, been on loan at the start of the season at Wigan, and I think he fits the profile for what we're looking for. We're looking for still these good number 8s that go beyond, and he's a good size. He's obviously young in terms of having a lot of game time experience, but he's done enough. He's had a couple of loans already, which is always important, I think. And the people at Liverpool have got a high opinion of him, as do we, so great to get the business done. I do think it helps us with another number in there. I think if we were to pick up another injury and we hadn't reacted in January to do something, then we were running the risk really of being a bit short in there. So he's a talented boy. He's a player that we feel can do a lot of good work, particularly in the final third, and give us added goal threats. And he's settled in great. He had a good first session this morning with the lads, and delighted to get him. There was a few clubs showed interest, but once we spoke to James last week, we felt that it was a deal that could be done.
Tapping into that Liverpool link again, it's something that's been good for you. Can you just tell us a bit about how fruitful that has been and how it's come about, really?
I think you just want to work with good players. Obviously, clubs like Liverpool have got an abundance of good young talent. They look for vehicles to try and develop their players, because obviously developing Liverpool's first team, you've got to be exceptional at a young age to do that. I think that we feel we've got a good relationship with Liverpool anyway. I think the fact that Russ Richardson used to work there, I think reinforces that. But we've also got a good relationship with agencies and companies, so it's not just about the club. The club obviously are there to try and steer and try to advise to go to certain places, and I think Liverpool know he'll get looked after. Similar to Luke Chambers, everything seemed to go pretty seamless really. The deal was agreed pretty quickly. Liverpool were really helpful, so I thank them for their part in it, but also James and his agent were seeing the merits of being here. So I think any way you can bring players, obviously when you've had evidence of things working before for the clubs, I think that's important. But he's hopefully it can be relationships that we can keep going forward, and if he's as successful as Luke was last season, then it will certainly help us and Liverpool and James.
Greg's been in the door a few days now. How delighted are you to be working with him again?
Yeah, great. It's just Greg was a boy, really popular boy, somebody I've got a lot of time for. I think he can bring real quality. Even he's not trained every day. He's had a wee issue with his ankle, nothing too sinister, but we're trying to get him up to speed. But the quality that he possesses, I think, can help us. I think in tight games, he can be the difference maker for us. And he comes with his own motivation. He can talk to you about what he wants to do. But when he sign players who are in their 30s, you've got to be convinced and certain that they've got that hunger still to kind of look for more from their career. And I believe Greg when he says he does. I think that there's a player there who help us achieve what we want to achieve, but at the same time the recognition of his qualities. People in Scottish football know his qualities enough, and he's already shown that. Even the few minutes he had against Dundee last week, he came on and takes the sting out of the game. We're trying to get him up to speed. His last game in training really was a few weeks back, so we're obviously trying to accelerate that. But I think he's a player. I think experience counts for a lot in the run-ins. I think even from our own side here, I think when we won the league, we leaned a lot on experience to get us over the line in that business end of the season. I thought last season we leaned a lot on experience to get the job done, staying in the league. And having the right type of experience is vitally important for clubs.
Expecting to do much else in the next week or so?
I wouldn't have thought so. Obviously things can change. We might look to loan out one or two of the younger lads. I'm not looking to move anybody within the squad. I think we're good for numbers at the minute. So again, January is this type of month where, as I say, you need to, you normally have to pay way over the odds to get something you really want. We're fortunate we've brought in a good loan signing from Liverpool with James. Fortunate we brought Gary in a longer term contract with the benefit of working with him, and Greg, another one who with the benefit of working with and a free agent. So but players who are attached to clubs, it's difficult. You see Hibs doing good business, you're thinking a couple of signings they've made, but you need to pay a lot of times to get that type of quality and be able to convince clubs to let go of good players. We're no different to a lot of clubs in Scotland where it's difficult. You get lots of players maybe thrown at you, but are you just bringing in another number, or actually is it what you need? And it's for us, we feel the squad is strong. I think our recruitment this summer allows us to take a wee bit more of a breath this window and be a bit calmer with our work, and that's the way we feel at the minute. So if the window was to close tomorrow, I think we'd be happy with our work. We'll obviously keep looking and keep in touch with players and agents and stuff like that we feel that potentially could come, but as I say, I'm not really looking to be too agitated about it.
What kind of game are you expecting this weekend?
Yeah, a game. Obviously, Hibs got a game tonight. They had their struggles, as a lot of teams do, come back after the break, and then the Cup on Saturday they managed to navigate their way through that one. But I think Hibs, when they're at their best, their front four effectively, they've committed to almost a 4-2-4. The front four have got a lot of pace, a lot about them a lot of the time, and a lot of creativity about them. So we're mindful that we're up against some good players. I think the 2 new signings will maybe add to that as well. So I think we know Hibs will probably come here and try and dominate the ball. We'll try and expose us 1v1s at times at the top end of the pitch. We've got to make sure that we are trying to impose our game on them, try to be good enough in the game at both ends of the pitch to try and nullify their threats, but also try and play our game as well, and try and get a foothold in the game, impose ourselves on the game, try and get the job done and win the game.
How pleasing was it at the weekend to not only see your side keep a clean sheet but score those early goals and maintain that throughout the whole game?
Yeah, I'll be honest, I thought that we obviously had a brilliant start, an unbelievable start. We've got brilliant lads who really motivated. I felt that right from the outset. In the dressing room, we felt ready for the cup tie. We know the importance of the cup to the club, and the spirit and the work rate gets the job done. Our quality of play on Saturday wasn't what I wanted it to be, and our organisation at times against the ball could have been better, but I thought we were a wee bit rusty in all aspects of that. But when you're not your best, you're still beating a Premier League team at home 2-0. There's loads of positives we can still take for the game. We look forward to the next round of the cup, but it's now back to league business, and it's important that we knuckle down, get on with the job in hand. We've got a home game here against a good opponent, and I think we'll need to improve our level of performance to beat Hibs.
Obviously a home tie last weekend, home tie this weekend, Hibs play tonight. Do you think fitness might be an advantage to you this weekend?
I would have thought so. I think obviously we had a friendly game against Hearts last week to try and set us up for Saturday's game, and I thought we needed that friendly game, we needed Saturday's game. I think teams are kind of looking for games at the minute. I can't speak for Hibs, but certainly for our point of view, we wouldn't have been too disappointed by a midweek game this week, and just to keep playing. But I think we've had a good week's work. We've trained Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Boys are off tomorrow, so we'll knuckle down and prepare. Just get the final details on Friday with the players and go and set about the task. Because there's no doubt we're going to have to play extremely well to beat Hibs. We've not beaten them this season. Lost Narrow at Easter Road, drawn here the game. So I think it's a reminder that we're going to have to do a bit more and a bit better if we're going to actually overcome them.
And just on Birighitti, that 7-day emergency contract, is that it, or is there any chance he could stay for the rest of the season?
No, as it stands, that'll be it. But we're still waiting for Will to be fully fit for the weekend. We're confident that he can make it, but that's ongoing. We've got Mark with us for the next few days, and we'll just react to that if we have to. But delighted that he managed to come in. I think he thanked Dundee United for being so swift and being fair really with the deal. and Matt's fitted in brilliantly. I've really enjoyed having him here. He's such a terrific lad. So we've only carried 2 senior keepers. We've got a young keeper, Aidan Glavin, who's on loan at Auchinleck, and he was cup tied and he's doing away fine there just now. But you always run the risk when your senior keepers get injured that you have to be able in a position to react.